Hi there, it's Melissa here, and today I'm back with a layout that I made earlier last week, and it's for the latest reveal over at Let's Get Sketchy. Well, it's actually last week's reveal, but it's taken me a while to get this video made because my baby was sick for 12 days, and now I'm sick with a cold that feels like flu, but I didn't want to wait any longer, so bear with me with my voice and probably drinking my cup of tea to get through this without coughing, but I really wanted to get this one loaded up. So I absolutely love that piece of Craft Market by Create paper, and this is my March hip kit, which I'm nearly finished now, and I didn't want to cut apart that paper. I wanted to use it as one, so I thought it was perfect for this sketch, which showed a large piece that's on an angle in the background. So I'm using a technique I've learnt from Missy Wooden, which is to apply the gesso with my finger and then put some ink or mist over the top with the packaging technique. And it's really opened up a whole new door of creative opportunity for me, because it means that I can use pieces like this background that normally would be challenging for a background piece and difficult to add mixed media to. But so thank you, Missy. Really enjoying using this technique. So, excuse me, just trying to work out how much to put on, because this sketch shows a lot of strips of paper, which is always one of my favourite types of layouts or sketches which has strips. So I want to make sure that even though my photos are little, I want to put a lot more gesso down than I would at first think I needed. So I've applied some, I think it's pink Delusions and some white Mr. Huey just to mix together. It's probably my favourite shade of pink. Then I mix those two colours together, and I'm just putting that down randomly in the background. And I've also put some up in the top right corner because that's where I want my other cluster to go. And I'm using just the paint dauber that we got, I think it was in last month's kit, and I'm just going to spray a bit of water and try it and see how that goes, because I've never done this before. So actually it works out really well. You don't get the same varied, I guess, what's the word? It's pretty thick. I mean, acrylic paint is thick and it's not transparent like you do with ink, but I like that it adds a bit more texture and colour. And it's quite subtle on top of the gesso as well. So I'm happy with how that turns out. So these two photos are cut from 4x6 photos, and they actually weren't the main feature of the photos that were taken. I'm working on a layout right now with the main photos. My mother-in-law took these and she gave them to me, and they're quite old. I think in the photo Azaria must be about 2 or 2.5, and I was just going through a big box of photos because I need to do another order, and I wanted to scrap some older photos and just get them on the layout into my albums. And what I noticed on the edge of these photos were Azaria was so cute, such a little girl, and especially the one where she's reaching up to me and I'm picking her up, and she's got her little curls, and it's just such a super sweet photos that normally I don't even know if I would have scrapped these, except that I thought, well, why don't I just cut these cute photos off the edge and make a layout with them. So when I saw the sketch, it was perfect because it has two photos, and because I love to feature strips of paper, I thought these photos would work really well with this design. So here I'm laying out those strips of paper, and I don't want to completely cover up my mixed media, so that's why I'm just doing them quite random and on different angles. And just checking with my photos to make sure they look good. But I forgot to say I've layered my photos on some vellum, and behind that I've used a die that is, it's like a file, but I've just used the top tab part of the file. And here at this point I've decided to do what I always do with strips of paper predominantly, and that's cut them into banners. So I'm just sticking them down now, and like I said before, trying to maintain that random placement and with gaps to allow that mixed media to show through. I'm loving the mix of patterns and colours in this layout. That background, I guess it's a dark teal, that's not from the kit, that's just cardstock that I've grabbed from my stash. So as I'm recording, as I'm doing my voiceover right now, sitting in our lounge and a second lounge, and I can look out the window where the main street is, and I'm looking to the south, and apparently we are expecting a big snowstorm. So it's quite funny because, as most of you probably do, you look at your iPhone and you think that, is it going to come or not? And iPhone keeps changing on whether it's going to snow or not. Not that we actually believe what the iPhone says, but it's still quite fun to check all the time. So where we live in Queenstown, the weather usually comes in from the south, and it's like 4 seasons in one day can happen in this part of New Zealand, and it can go from blue skies and you look to the south and you just see it all rolling in. So it's really exciting. My husband said that the last 2 years, tomorrow is Monday, that Monday has been a snow day. So a snow day is where the kids and him being a teacher get a day off school. So I'm guessing that most of the town is hoping and praying for that. So here I'm using some chipboard. It's the backing, it's the leftovers of the chipboard. And Sue's fish, I thought of you when I was using this because being the thrifty scrapbooker that you are, and made me have a little chuckle because I am also really thrifty, and it was awesome to actually make the most of this. And I love the dimension that it adds, and it lifts it up from the page in a way that just normal foam squares, pop dots wouldn't do. So I added extra Tombow I found with those crepe paper chipboard that, in terms of longevity and things not moving around, that you do want to add extra adhesive. And here I've just put my moulding paste on top to hold it down. And now I'm starting to work on my cluster at the top, and the sketch had some strips up there as well, so I want to mimic what I've already created and make some banners. And also I want to let that mixed media shine from underneath. I found that gold and white striped paper there absolutely gorgeous. Both sides, the other side is a really pretty floral, so I found that quite hard to use. And so when I get to the point that it is really hard to use, I'll just cut it up and use it in small pieces. Here I'm adding a chipboard wreath. I think it says "You Are So Loved," and that's from, I think it was my February hip kit, and I wasn't able to use it, and I was a little disappointed that I couldn't use it in my February layouts, but it was awesome that it worked along with the sketch for this layout, so really good to get that down. And that is a bow that I've made with, I think it's a Couture Creations die that I just got from our warehouse, and I'm just really loving bows at the moment. You probably would have noticed that I've used them in the last few girly layouts that I've made, and love, love, love how this one turned out. And also I love that the 3 pieces that I've cut and made for the bow I've done with the same paper, and I just think that's a really sweet touch to a girly page. So I've added Tombow to hold that down as well. Okay, and now I'm adhering my clusters at the top, my banners, sorry, for my cluster at the top. And I'll just trim off the excess once I've worked out the placement. And that's another technique I like to do with my banners, and that's pop up the ends of some of the pieces. So I've done the one in the middle at the top, and now I'm just going through here, and probably the pieces that sit on top of other banners are the bits that I'm going to pop up. There you can see the other side of that gold and white stripe. It's with that pretty floral. So I cut the word love, I cut that out with a paper smooches die, which is one of my favourites, and when I placed the die on that white and gold stripe, I made sure that I could see, I made sure that it crossed over so that I got both the white and the gold, and I've just adhered it with my stapler. And at this point I thought my title was going to be Love Her, but when I picked up those stickers I realised that I had no E's left. So I'm going to use these ones instead. I got the main kit and the Project Life kit, and when I do my layout share I'll show you what I made predominantly with the Project Life kit, but I had a lot left over, so I love using Project Life bits and pieces on normal layouts. So my battery had died, but there's the final layout. I've added some of those word stickers and just a few more embellishments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be healthy and back into it soon. Thanks.